Done. Alright, not really. What's going on with this fucking thing? Hello, Chopperino fans. No, that probably doesn't work. Hello to all the chopper people out there. I've got something new in store for you. No, didn't feel like that was a good intro. Alright, you animals. It is time to make an oil tank out of you guessed it, fire extinguisher. Okay, so I've just had a quick look. Let's get to the point. I got a little bit of an idea. I know this has been done before. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I don't know, I've never watched a video on it being done, so I don't know if they cover certain things, but I just want to show you the first issue. Okay, so fire extinguisher into the frame of bike. Oh, if I can lift it up without it going off in your face, and bang, jammed. That's it. Okay. Won't go any higher than that. So, I don't know. This is a DKG hardtail. This is a DKG hardtail. I don't know if a lowbrow hardtail, a TC Bros hardtail, I don't know if they're the same, if you have this same issue. Most of the time though, people aren't putting fire extinguishers in there, but I would say they are around about the same diameter oil tanks. So I'm not sure. I know people put them up the front here as well, right? Now if I was to put it up the front, it would be fine, okay? I've got a bike that's kind of got it mounted up the front. It's a little bit different scenario, but where your seat is, your legs can kind of rub on it, if you get what I mean. Yeah, look, you can mount it a bit lower, you can do all this. I just don't like the idea of it being really close to the motor and the heat and all that. Look, that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's completely normal. People do it all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's probably not so much the heat issue for me. It's the mounting issue for me. I think I've come up with an okay way. I've got a battery box from DKG hardtails as well. I ordered it at the same time. What I'm going to do is use possibly these mounts that I've made to mount my battery box to, that is going to be recessed into this. Okay, so battery box and oil tank in one. Yep, been done before plenty of times. I'm going to use these mounts hopefully to hold both in place. Maybe come up with a different mount just something simple to go in between things, just to keep everything nice and sturdy. But I've got really good, strong mounts that are welded to this bar across here, and you know, there's plenty of beef in these. These are not going anywhere, so they will be fine to double up as everything. We, as in I, am going to, I skipped a step here, right? I got a fire extinguisher. I've cut the end off. I've left the end at home, which isn't great to get me dead centre, but it'll be fine, because that's roughly about that side. People that have tried to do this has had this issue. I've not seen it, but I'm sure it's there somewhere, or people just use a thinner fire extinguisher. So what I'm going to do, not only are we going to make a oil tank, I hope I've been saying fuel tank the whole time, it's an oil tank. Not only are we going to be making an oil tank out of a fire extinguisher, doesn't sound too good, does it? We're going to notch it so it sits over that bar and clears me fender. It'll sit like right down the bottom, but it won't sit right up where it's roughly meant to sit. Now, simple, I know, but what else we're doing, just stick with me here, is we're going to kill two birds with one stone. Battery tray, okay? What I'm going to do, now this has been done, right? I've seen it. I don't know if it's been done with a fire extinguisher, but I've seen people make oil tanks and have an integrated battery holder. So I'm going to sit it on there, I'm going to trace around it, I'm going to cut that in, I'm going to weld it there. That's one thing, because I wish so I didn't do a thing leading up to this, because where I mounted my fender, if you've watched that episode, and it'll become clearer after I've done this, I've worked out that the two bolts that go through, the two bolts up here that go through the fender, if I mark them out, I can drill these out, that'll sit on there under my seat that I haven't got, and that will also in turn hold the battery and the oil tank in mounting it like that. So if that makes sense, don't know, but you'll see what I mean. And I've got this, which is a exhaust heat shield. I've cut this to the correct length because it's already a half pipe, half a pipe, tube, whatever the fuck it is, and that will notch into there, thus clearing the bar. Okay, and then we're going to notch this out. So look, in my head seems simple, not sure if I'm going to have any problems. If I have any problems and it's a total failure, I guess you're never going to know, because if you're watching this video, it must have sort of worked 70% of the, yeah, about 70% successful if you're watching this video and over. So if you're watching this now, it is 70% successful, at least, at a minimum. So you can continue to watch it. all right? I wouldn't make you watch it for me to throw it out, put it in the bin. Maybe a lot of the stuff I probably should have just done that with, but anyway, all right. Let's give this a go. Let's give it a go. This has got to be about there, so I won't change the front position too much, but I will probably sink this in a little bit more. I can't change the front because this has to be notched out. Right. Tasted fucking weird. All right. Next step, I'm going to tack that in so I roughly know where it sits, and then we're going to tack this in, and then we'll have some gaps that we've got to fill in. Hopefully might be able to nick this in a couple of different directions, tap it over, weld it up. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I'm just spitballing. Just thinking out loud. Alright, decided against running cuts through it and then tapping it over. I mean, look, I'm doing a pretty quick job here, but it just won't work. I'm best off cutting this off around here, and then the bits that need welding up, the holes, just fill in the gaps, and a little bit longer to cut everything and do everything, but it's done properly then, if you'd call this properly. Look, there's easier ways to do this. Not so much the battery tray and all that sort of thing, but look, if I'd been a bit more prepared and I had the right clamp and all that sort of stuff, you could, if you had a big enough drill press and everything, you could line your drill press up, you could put your fire extinguisher in a drill press if you had a good enough way of holding it, and you could run a hole saw down through it. It'd give you the right radius and you wouldn't have to have big gaps to fill in like I've got. I don't have that. I could have set it all up and that, but by the time I do it, I may as well show you the way that probably, I don't know, 90% of backyard people are gonna try and do it. Something like that. What you'll find with thin material like this, you kind of put a little bit more, in general, you don't put more heat into it. I'm not saying that, fucking sunglasses. I'm not saying that, but if you've got a little bit of an overlap or something, you can kind of melt it into each other, even with a MIG, and you know, build up the weld around it. And then when you flapper wheel it off, it works fine. I'm not saying I do it on a bonnet of a car, but something that is hidden away, you can actually get it looking fine. You can get it looking like no one would even know. Oh, it's fucking atrocious. It's atrocious. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to show you. Check it out. Oh, fucking rank is that. This is why I TIG weld and I don't MIG weld. I've put a shitload of weld around this. It's my oil tank. I don't want it leaking. It looks ugly as fuck, but that's what I've had to do to get the curves and all that sort of thing. But I'm about to clean it up. I'm going to start with a normal grinding wheel, and if you go through the weld and you end up with a little hole or anything, don't worry about it, just keep going. You can fix all that up later. It's not going to be perfect, but I'd rather have a bit more weld on there and work my way down. So I'm just going to start off with a coarse solid grinding wheel, and then we'll move into a flapper disc. I don't know if I'll be doing it tonight, all of it, but we'll give it a quick go. It won't take too long. I just haven't got the best flapper disc with me to do it. Alright, let's try it. Let's not try it, let's do it. Let's do it. Alright, so I've done some cleaning up of this oil tank, a little bit of cleaning up, and this is where we're at the moment. So it's all sealed up now pretty well. Obviously I'll take this all back to bare metal, a little bit of filler over our welds and stuff like that. I'll finish them off a little bit better, or you know, I really pump some weld into them, but also too I don't want it leaking. Yes, it would have been a lot nicer job if I just tigged it up, but I knew it was going to be a bit of a pain in the ass getting all the gaps right. It just takes so long to TIG it, and I had a MIG on hand, and most people have got a MIG on hand. So it was just a quicker way to show you how quick, you know, like you can cut things and do everything and grind it all up and bang, it's done. So okay, now I'll show you. I haven't got to try this out yet or mount it, but this is obviously the same fire extinguisher, how it started out, and the issue I had was I want to put it in here and bang, jams up. Doesn't go high enough. Because at the same time, I am going to use this battery mount up on them two bolts. I'm going to drill these out and put it up on this. Bang. Mounting battery holder and oil tank in one. It's done, it's sorted, it's off my plate. Here we go. This is, hopefully I've made everything fit right. And yeah, that's fitting in there pretty good. I kind of want my oil tank up high and my battery up high, that way it's out the way a bit. You don't sort of notice it that much, instead of everything sort of down in that gap. Alright, well, I'm going to do a bit of thinking. I'm not going to do any thinking, actually. I'm not going to do any thinking. Fuck it. I'm just going to drill the holes, mount it, and then if a problem arises later, I'll fix it there. That's what I'm going to do. So, right, going to drill some holes. Let's get into it. What have I got to do now? So, next thing is I got to weld my bungs on. Alright, so I've just flushed it out, cleaning any filings and anything like that out. Ideally, I wanted to get the cap drilled out, so then I can wash it out again, but I've got the majority of it out. I'm going to start to get this on because it's distorted so much through the heat that's been put into it. I'm going to have to sort of tack it and then squeeze it and pull it back in. That massive ugly bit of weld there, that's from that huge hole that I've just patched up, and that'll all be ground off nice and flat, but I had to make a bit of a dog's breakfast out of that. But anyway, alright, so I'm going to tack this up on the bits that line up the best. Okay, filler cap done. What can I say? Probably should, I think I just got a bit excited with the MIG, you know. Not having to hold shit by tacking it, and no clamping, just fucking feeding it in. Fucking feeding it in. Fucking feeding it in. Now I've got a lot of grinding in front of me. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's some fucking dodgy Mad Max shit right there. Oh, looks like Uncle Fester's been let loose with his ark. Alright. Back of the workshop. About ready to grind this thing up and make it look semi-respectable, and this isn't just for this purpose when I come to clean the frame up, but look what I've got. I invested in a pipe sander. It's going to come in so fucking handy. I've got to do the exhaust, I've got to do the frame, and there'll probably be some other bits and pieces. So I've got that now. It's just a cheap nasty one off eBay. I think it was like 120 bucks. All set up, ready to go. So I reckon it'll come in handy tonight for going over these curves and stuff once I got the majority of it down. I guess we'll see. Well, it was good while it lasted. I think the fucking cheap, shitty eBay fucking pipe sanders just shit itself. That's the end of it now. It's starting to get there. Got a few low spots. Can build that up with a bit of weld, sand it back off again. Depends how far you want to go. Most people would just get it to that and put a bit of filler on it. It's done. Alright, done a bit more cleaning up tonight with the welds and bits and pieces. Starting to get there, so it makes doing the paint prep just a little bit easier. So I've made a bracket for underneath the petrol tank, for underneath the oil tank. That's gonna go around here, so it'll go around that bar, and underneath this will be welded on to the bottom of that. That'll secure the bottom of it. The one thing I guess I've got to watch with this, I mean, I've got the weight of the oil tank itself. I'm going to have oil in it. I'm going to have a battery on top of it. It needs to be pretty secure. If it wobbles around all over the place, it's not going to take long for it to snap something off or whatever. It's just probably not great to have much movement in it. I've got this bracket from the hardware, and I've used these before for something, but I've never used it for this, and it was the first thing that popped into my head when I was trying to think of a way to mount this. I just made that bracket up tonight. That's the one they come with, and that's the one I've just made. Okay, so the plan is that is going to go around there into our mount. There's going to come up and be welded onto the bottom of that, and two nuts to tighten it up and do whatever, and that's it. Bob's your uncle, or I don't know, can you say it these days? He's your sister. He could be your auntie. He might not identify as anything. That's something like that is how it's going to sit. Alright, so we've got that tacked on up in there, if you can see it. Not sure. Yep. And that's that set up. Look, I prodded and pulled on this before I put that bottom mount on, and it's honestly, it's not going anywhere, but a bit of peace of mind. And this thing's going to do a lot of moving and shaking, so Well, I guess that's it. I'll fully weld that when I disassemble the bike for the final time. All right, so I've tacked that on now. Don't know if you can see that up under there, somewhere. And look, this thing, before I put this bottom mount on, it was solid as a rock. It wasn't moving anywhere, but that'll give just a little bit more peace of mind. It's going to be doing a bit of moving and shaking. That now is done. I'm not gonna bore you with pulling it off and fully welding that bracket on. I'll do that when I do the final disassembly on it. I know it works, I know it's in its position, so I know it's all fitting, and that's all it's really got to do. That's it. That's a oil tank made out of a fire extinguisher. Look, if I could go back and do that again, I would just do it the way I was originally going to do it, and just get some pipe, put some caps on the end of the pipe and weld it. At least then I'd have nice thick material to weld to, not like, I don't know what that is. Would have made it out of, like, I don't know, 2 mil, something like that, 2.5 mil. Would have got a pipe, cut the end off it, and put my mountain bungs in. And I probably would have made my own battery tray using something else that's got slots all through it. I had to fill them in. It just all extra time consuming stuff. Is that the tank I'm going to keep on this bike? I'm not sure. I did want to make one from scratch. I know that's kind of making one from scratch, but I really wanted to make a hexagon shaped one. I thought I was going to run out of time, and this was going to be quicker. Turns out I probably could have made the stuff and it wouldn't have taken me that much longer. I would have had a better finish on it. I wouldn't have had so much cleanup to do. But that's enough. That's enough rambling on. I'll give you a look at it, and if you haven't already, I won't say it. You know, just you remember to click that button and press that other thing. Like and subscribe. No, don't like it. Can't do it. Nah, I still can't do that. Just can't bring myself to say it. All right, here it is. Not finished, not quite finished. It's gonna look better. Looks like dog's breakfast at the moment, but it will look better. Full disclosure, it does look pretty rough. I know that. I hope if you've seen some of the other work, you realise I don't do it as rough as this. Sometimes you can't really help it. It's got to be a little bit rough, and you got to do a lot of cleaning up. I think I was just rushing. It's a lot better to take your time and use the right stuff. The less you got to clean up, the better. And I wasn't really taking my time and doing it properly the way I should have. I can't make any more excuses up for myself. It's gonna look better when the final assembly is done. The final assembly of the bike, that oil tank, is going to look better, or I would have made another one by then. And no, not doing it.